All right, everybody, welcome to Marriage Off the Rocks.
Hello,
This morning.
everyone.
This is Marriage Symposium, first Marriage Symposium of Marriage Off the Rocks for this year. I think we're going to be doing these 3 times a year. So I'm telling you, it's going to be life-changing and encouraging. So here's what we need you to do. We need you to go ahead and share and like and tag and invite. Get as many people as you can to be a part this morning and let them know that Pastor Perryman, PastorSophia are on this morning with our special guest today, and we're looking to help people keep their marriages off the rocks. So y'all come on in and share and like and tag and invite. Get as many people as you can to be a part today, and let's really go after God together. Let's want to give you some quick announcements while you guys are coming on. We'll give you some quick announcements while you guys are coming on. So again, welcome to all of our internet audience, our Instagram audience, our YouTube audience, our Facebook Live audience, those who watch it through the church app. Thank you so much for tuning in today. But listen, we'll give you some quick announcements. Our Youth Sunday is January the 29th. January 29th, our Youth Sunday is taking place. And our young adults are going to be taking over service and doing an amazing job in both locations. Minister Shamika Bogart is going to be preaching and teaching in the Lancaster location at 12:30, and that's going to be a tremendous time. Listen, our men's small group is going to be back in the runnings at the beginning of this year. Beginning of February, I should say. A Mandate small group is going to be amazing. So what we need you to do is invite a lot of men to be a part of Mandate. And I'm telling you, so that's going to be incredible. It's going to be great to do because we have a great time on Mandate. But not only that, but our the We Care small group.
Yes, our We Care small group is going to be
Minister
Kim Simmons
on
Saturday, February the 4th at 9:30 a.m. So you definitely want to be a part of that. Mm-hmm. And then also for those who are entrepreneurs who own businesses, we're having Business Sunday, which is coming up on February the 5th in both locations. So if you would like to be a part of that, you can see Minister Angie. She will give you more details. But if you have a business, we would love to have you. It's going to be on Sunday, February the 5th. And then also, ladies, the women's small group is going to be coming up on February the 9th. That'll be our first small group for the year. Yes. So that's going to be Thursday, February the 9th at 6 p.m. So ladies, I'm looking to see everyone there. We are going to have an amazing time. I have a lot of things planned for that day. So I definitely want to see your faces, okay? And then keep in mind, we are definitely going to be having in the backyard Monday through Friday at 8:15 with Overseer Perryman.
All right. So, hey, we're looking forward to that. But listen, let's get ready to bring on our special guest this morning. Our special guests are really no strangers. It's my son and my beautiful daughter.
Yes.
So they're home. Y'all say good morning to them today. Shout out to
Hello,
and my beautiful daughter, Natasha.
Hello, son and Natasha.
Many of you know that they've just been married now since August 20th.
Yeah.
And I've been married a few months now, newlyweds. So it's an amazing time. We really enjoyed you guys the last time you were on.
Yes, we did.
Got to pray for Curtis to talk more. But Natasha, she did an amazing job.
They both did an amazing job.
And so what we wanted to do was start off with you guys again this year.
Yes.
And today what we're going to be talking about in marriage, we're really believing that God's going to take this broadcast and touch a lot of people's lives. But what we want to do this morning, we want to talk about how, you're discovering when you first get married, you're really discovering each other, how to get through the beginning stages or the early stages of marriage. This is really the discovery stage.
Right.
And a lot of times when people get married, they think that everything is peachy keen when you first get married. And they're not understanding that it's not like that there's a stage of discovery.
Oh, yes.
That the person that you dated or the person you were living with is not the same person you married. Everybody shifts and everybody changes. And so a lot of times people don't realize that. And when we first got married, it was challenging.
Yes. We had to learn each other. We had to grow. We had to mature.
Yeah.
And we definitely had to put God in the center of the marriage. So.
Yeah, and we had to get rid of our flesh.
Yes.
Because our flesh was controlling. Man, we didn't start the live on over here, so we got to get that moving. Y'all give me a second really quickly.
1 second.
Yeah, so give me a second. we're good to go so far. Wanted to make sure we had this in play. But nevertheless, a lot of times when people first get married, they think that everything is peachy keen, and it's not. There's a discovery stage.
Oh, yes.
You were saying how we had to discover one another. We have to learn one another.
That's right. What we like, what we don't like.
Yeah.
What we can tolerate, what we can't tolerate.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And so we want to talk really about that today. I know that you guys have only been married a few months now. But tell us how that's been for you guys. How that's been for you since you've only been married a few months. So y'all talk to us about that. About your discovery stage.
As you stated, it is a lot of discovery.
Mm-hmm.
It is a lot of learning and relearning.
That's good.
It's a lot. It's a lot of communication.
Right.
Consistency.
Say it again.
Consistency.
Wow. Say that again, son.
Consistency.
That's a good word, son.
That's a good one, son.
That's a good word.
Consistency. That's amazing right now. That's amazing. So let's go a little deeper detail in this. You talked about this. So what consistency in this for you?
Consistently doing the same thing, doing your part,
Mm-hmm.
bring it, just consistently doing your part, you don't want to let your spouse down, or have her, have to pick up what you are not bringing, or whatever, I don't know, but, yeah, just consistency.
Right. Well, I think those are good things that you're talking about right there, because, like you said, this is the discovery stage of marriage. A lot of people fail in the first 5 years of marriage,
That's true.
and because a lot of times when people get married, they immediately think that I have to become this superhero type person. I got to make sure that I do this, make sure I do that. And then the flip side of the coin, there are people who get married and then they just let themselves go. I'm already married now, so they don't put forth the energy and the effort that they once did in order to get the spouse that they had. So it's like they don't do the things to maintain and sustain a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And the discovery stage is so important, because what you're doing is you're learning this person. You may have dated this person, lived with this person, but you don't know this person as a married person. So you're discovering who this person is. And like my wife said, you're discovering what they like, what they don't like. You are discovering who they really are as a married individual.
Right.
And I was listening to a preacher talk the other day, and he was talking about how he didn't want kids in the beginning of his marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that he didn't want kids in the beginning of his marriage, because he wanted all of his wife's attention.
Right.
That
was selfish, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. He was saying he was being selfish. He wanted all of his wife's attention, that he did not want the attention to go to anyone else. He wanted that attention for himself. And see, in the beginning stage, she didn't know that.
Right.
But now when they're married, they're discovering. So she's like, wait a minute, what? So it's the discovery stage that most people ignore, that you're discovering. So tell me what you guys have discovered among each other in this marital stage.
Well, I know I lived by myself for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was used to doing all the things, doing all the grocery shopping, doing all the cleaning, doing all the things. And I noticed one time when we were having a discussion, I was saying, well, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and you don't do this. And he said, well, I never asked you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, actually, that's true. So I discovered that I'm doing all of these things that he never even asked me to do. And I'm thinking I'm, being great and just doing the wife stuff. I don't have to stress myself out about doing that because he never asked me to do it from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm learning that he's a little more independent than what I thought. And
Wow.
he doesn't need me to do X, Y, and Z. If I want to do it, great. But at the end of the day, he's his own man, and I have to allow him to be that.
Wow, that's amazing because, like you said, when you're doing stuff on your own for a long period of time, you're just doing, naturally what you normally do.
Mhm.
But now you're discovering like he don't need me to really do that. He don't really need me to do that. And what he needs me to do is he probably gonna tell you what it is that he needs. And that's a discovery thing that probably is helping you.
Yes.
I would say it's helping you a lot. Because a lot of people become prideful and arrogant in situations like that.
Yes.
Well, I'm doing it anyway.
Mhm.
You understand? And they ignore what their spouse said. I didn't ask you to do that. I don't really need you to do that for me. And this is what I need. And so there's a discovery. And a lot of times what people don't understand is what I need from you this year may not be what I need from you next year.
Right, because we all grow as
Yeah.
we're getting older.
Yeah.
And like when we first got married, some things that he needed from me and I needed from him, we don't need that anymore because now we're like, almost 20 years later.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so it takes a lot. It takes a lot. And, I like to hear you saying that some things that you thought he needed from you, he really did need from you.
Yeah.
So you guys are discovering each other, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. Would you say that a lot of communication is needed in this early stage?
Oh, yes, Lord. Yes.
And I think that's in any stage. That's in any
Yes.
stage.
Even when you
Yes, Lord.
even when you
Come on,
don't
Tommy,
want to
elaborate a little
communicate,
bit on this.
like you're gonna communicate. Like even when you're not talking, you're still talking.
That's true.
That's true. Body language.
Body language is something, boy.
Body
I'm telling
language
you.
is something.
Body
language
language
is something.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, body
Wow.
language says a lot.
Yeah. Body language is a lot. A lot of times my wife says, you were not happy today. And I was like, I never said anything. Say, nah, your
Facial expression,
said
body language.
says you were not
And
happy
people can
today.
see that and feed into that, oh,
Mhm.
Pastor don't look too happy this morning,
Yeah.
or something's going on with Pastor. Pastor, he ain't right this morning.
So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to navigate and work on that.
Yes.
Right? Because here I am thinking that I'm good.
Uh-huh.
And my wife is saying,
You gotta get your facial
you gotta
expression
get your
together.
face
People are
together.
looking.
People are paying attention. You gotta get your face
And when
together.
you're angry, you can't show it. Because believe me, you think they're not looking, they're looking right at you.
Yeah.
They're looking to see how you're gonna keep your composure and all of that.
Yeah. And it's really important for us to understand the beginning stages or early stages of marriage requires a lot of communication, a lot of sit down talking, a lot of talking.
Yes.
Once you get married, that doesn't mean that the work stopped. The work begins.
Yes.
The work begins now because the Bible says it like this. We've not been around this place before. Maybe, if a person's been married before, they've been in marriage, but you ain't been married to this person.
Right.
It's a whole new discovery.
Totally different individual.
Yeah, totally different thing that you're doing. You're discovering this individual.
Yes.
And it requires a lot of communication. A lot of communication.
Oh, yes.
And I can't stress that enough to people who are watching us today. It requires a lot of communication. You did a lot of talking before you got married, but now that you are married, you have to talk in detail about a lot of things. You have to talk about health crises. You got to talk about life insurance, burial insurance, medical things. You have to talk about the children if you're going to have children. You have to talk you have to talk in detail.
Yes.
And the other part of this communication thing is you got to get on the same page.
Yes.
That you have to get on the same page. And there are a lot of people who try to maintain who they were before they got married. That does not work. That means two people are going in two different directions and you're not on the same page. So that means you cannot accomplish vision. You won't be able to accomplish any goals, any dreams, any desires. And if you keep it up, you probably won't be married long.
You know what? That is so funny you say that because people don't understand when you're married, you're coming together as one. You're joining in a union as one. So it's no longer about me, about self. It's always going to be about, we're doing this as a team, as a partnership.
Yeah.
It's a partnership. It's us doing it together. Marriage is together, not you doing your own thing, she doing her own thing. I mean, even though I have a business, I know that God is the center, and he's number one. So that's the first thing in the family.
Yeah.
The first thing.
Yeah. See, we established ground rules.
And
things like that, and what we're going to do and what we're not.
We're still individual people.
Yeah.
We're still individual people, but keep in mind, we have to be on the same agreement. We have to agree on things together.
Yeah.
You can't do your separate things and leave that person out, and then you find out a year later.
Yeah.
It has to. Open communication is so important.
Yeah. Curtis, what have you discovered since you've been married a few months? Tell me tell your father what you've been discovering so far.
The teamwork.
Wow.
That's it. That's you said a whole lot.
Yeah,
Come on, Sonny, elaborate on your teamwork.
Yeah, building everything together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Teamwork can be easily spoken out of the mouth, but hard to do when you've been doing everything by yourself. You understand? Your wife said that, hey, I've been doing everything on my own for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Where teamwork is concerned means I have to allow the person to make mistakes. I got to allow them to make mistakes because this is a discovery stage. I got to allow them to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what we don't do is we don't allow people to make mistakes. We just don't allow them to make mistakes because you got to remember, this is all new for them.
Mm-hmm.
So teamwork means that I allow you to make mistakes. I help you after you have made mistakes. I help you. You understand? I help you to see it the right way. I don't hold grudges against you or beat you up or belittle you. You understand? And a lot of times people do this in marriage. Why didn't you do this? Why you just didn't follow instruction like I told you? And there it is. And what that is the enemy comes in and he's separating you and separating you and separating you and separating you. Before you know it, your whole marriage is over.
And the whole thing is you can't hold the mistake over their head and keep bringing it up. Oh, you made this mistake 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, you get mad, so you bring up that mistake that you made 10 years ago or he made 10 years ago. You're not playing fair. You're not playing fair because now you're throwing the issue back up from something that we thought that you went past. You pressed past that.
Yeah.
You didn't really press past because you brought it back up again.
Yeah.
So you have to. It's like detoxing. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
It's like detoxing.
Wow. So you have to really communicate, do a lot of communication. You got to get on the same page, but you got to allow the person to make mistakes.
Yeah, so we're not perfect.
Yeah, because everybody is discovering in this stage.
Right.
We're all discovering. Got to let people make mistakes.
Right.
I never forget talking to a guy one day. Matter of fact, I was counseling. Well, I don't want to use the word counseling. I was doing biblical advice for a husband and a wife one time.
Yeah.
And she was complaining heavily that he doesn't do it the way she wants it done.
Right. You're not you.
And I said to her, you have to realize something, that he is not you.
Right.
And you are not him.
Right.
Men process completely different than women.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that we don't hear you, don't understand you, but we process things differently. And I said, you can't expect him to be you just because this is what you would do.
Right.
Doesn't mean that that's what he would do.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to sit down and you have to have deep conversations on things, how you want to see it done. The things, this pleases me, that don't please me. I like this, I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a discovery stage in this. You're discovering the person mentally, emotionally. You're discovering the person physically. You're discovering the person sexually.
Yes.
Because this person is not the person you were with before.
Say that again. Different individual. Yes.
Yeah, I pray for my wife.
Different individual.
Yeah. So everybody is different. Everybody is different. And so you have to allow for differences.
Yes.
You got to allow for differences.
Yes.
And it's amazing, Curtis, that you bring up teamwork, because I realized early on in marriage, when I started trying to do things on my own, it didn't work. Like we would fail miserably because I had a thought process of trying to get it done on my own, and it failed.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to realize something, that God gave me help. So why would God give me help if he didn't want me to use the help that he gave me?
That's good.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That means that I was stupid in the process. Why not use the help that God gave you?
Right.
And so I started to realize who my wife was to me. And I started to ask questions. Hey, how do you feel about this? Give me your honest opinion about that. Right. And she would say, you want my honest opinion? Yeah, I want your honest opinion. I wouldn't ask for it if I didn't want your honest opinion. And so what she would do is give me her honest opinion. Oh, okay, yeah, that kind of makes a little bit of sense right there. I didn't think about that. Mm-hmm. So it gives me an opportunity to see things from a different perspective. So we said you have to communicate, And communicate. But you got to get on the same page.
Yes.
Getting on the
That's
same
good.
page can be a fight within itself.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a fight within itself because, like my wife said, we're individuals. I want to do it my way. No, I want to do it my way. And the reality is that means that we have to learn to compromise. Getting on the same page means you got to learn to compromise. And the compromise doesn't mean that I get my way. A compromise means that we find a happy medium.
Mm-hmm.
That's what compromise is. Talk to us about some of the things that you guys have really had to compromise since you've been married and since you've been married these early stages. Talk to us about that. Have you guys had to do much compromise?
Well, I'll say time. You know, giving her time that I'll usually use on myself, you know, use it for her, spending time with her, you know, taking her out and things like that. So, just time.
Okay. So have you discovered that that's what your wife likes? Is for you to spend a lot of time with her?
Yeah, that's what she likes.
Okay. So you compromise that time. You compromise that.
Yeah.
That's good, son. That's good.
Yeah. You know, there are a lot of men who don't like to go shopping with their wives, right? They just, or if they go shopping with, like, hurry up. All right. So I understood early on when we first got married. All right. We first got married. We went to, our honeymoon was in Hawaii. Went to Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
We was in Waikiki Beach, our hotel room overlooking the beach and everything. I think it was on like 27th floor or something.
Yeah.
I mean, everything was nice, right? They had the hula dancers out there, like you see on television. All that stuff was out there, you know. So it was just real good. And then we kept noticing all these people walking down the street.
Mm-hmm.
So we just started walking down the street with them. We don't know these people. We just following folks. There's just a whole crowd walking down the street. And we started walking down the street. And the first thing my wife saw was a Louis Vuitton store. And she said, "Oh my God, Louis," like that. I was like, "What the heck is Louis?" I don't know nothing about no Louis Vuitton at that moment. So she grabbed me in the store.
You're being funny now.
And then
You're being extra.
So then the next store, right next to the store, was the Gucci store.
Right. You know Gucci, right?
I didn't know any of those high-end price stores. I didn't know any of that. I come out the hood. If it wasn't Dickies or if it wasn't from the Slauson Swap Meet under the Delamo.
He didn't know Gucci. He knew Gucci on Tasha. He knew Gucci.
If it didn't come out of Slauson Swap Meet, if it didn't come out of Delamo Swap Meet,
get your pastor.
if it didn't come for the Compton Swap Meet, I ain't know nothing about it.
Wow.
So next to that, the Gucci store, then you had the Prada store, the Chanel store, the Christian Dior.
I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, this is on one street? Oh my God.
So my wife is running into these stores, right? And then you look across the street, there's the Rolex store.
The same thing on the next side of the street. I was like, oh my God.
So she's running in and out of the store, like cross sideways, like you're running in and out of the store. And then you go down the street and they repeated themselves.
Yes.
Are you going to run down the street?
I was like, why is it like this?
So at that moment, I discovered she likes all this high-end stuff, and she wants to go in every store.
Right.
To the point I got frustrated.
Even if I just window shop, I just like to look at it, see the new styles and,
Well, I got frustrated, right? After we done been in the same store down the street 5 or 6 different times, and she not in there like 20 minutes or 30 minutes. She in there
I'm talking to the people, trying to see what new brand, what's coming up next. And he's just sitting there so patiently. And
no, I wasn't patient. I was upset. I was ready to go. Because here I am. We done been to, listen, how many Louis Vuitton stores we gonna walk into? You understand? It's like 5 of them on the same strip, and then you go across the street and they come and they're the same on the other side of the street. So I'm sitting up here. I was like, look, I am sick of going to these stores. Go stand in front of it. I'll take a picture of you in front of it.
Yeah, that's what he started doing, Tasha. He started taking pictures of me, so I would go back. He's like, oh, let me take pictures so you can have the picture.
Yeah, I'm like, man, because I was getting frustrated with that.
Yeah.
Right? And that went on with me being frustrated about going places with her like that for about maybe like a year.
Mm-hmm.
Because we go to the mall, you got to go into every store. Oh, honey, look at this. And I'm like, oh my God.
And then when he introduced me to the outlet, I was like, the same stuff but in the outlet, but cheaper, but is it real? And then he's like, oh yeah, it's real. Then the people were like, oh yeah, it's real with this discount. And I'm like, why didn't I know this before? Now, I didn't know about the outlets at the time.
Yeah.
He introduced me to the outlets. I was like, whoa,
see,
half the price.
My thing is that, so we're going in these places, right?
Mm-hmm.
A year goes by and I am frustrated with this. And I had to realize something. This is what she likes to do.
Yeah.
So you got to learn to compromise because there are some things that you like to do and you're going to need her or want her to participate in.
Yeah.
So what I had to do was I had to compromise. So, okay, I'm going to compromise and make her happy. But at the same time, I got to make myself happy. So how do I do that? I'm going to walk into these stores and I'm going to ask these people, do you have a seating for a man?
Yep.
Give me a seat. All right. I'm coming there. I got me, if you ever see me go out shopping somewhere with my wife, I got me a little pouch. You understand? In that pouch, I got a cell phone charger. I got a cell phone card.
So he can plug up his phone. Be on that phone.
I probably got some snacks up in their bag or something like that. I'm gonna sit right there.
And you're gonna have his Starbucks coffee.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit right there.
Some Starbucks.
I'm gonna sit right there. I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna move. I ain't gonna say hurry up. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna sit right there and I'm gonna let her enjoy herself.
Yeah.
She gonna bring out all these different outfits and everything, and she wants to know what is my opinion on them. What do I think about? How would this? What about this? What about that? And I just sit there and let her enjoy herself because I realized this is what she likes. Okay. I had to discover that. That was a discovery stage. Once I realized that this is what she likes, then I had to let it go.
Yeah.
I had to let go of what I really wanted to do. And that's what marriage is really all about. It's give and take. It's compromise. It's communication. It's getting on the same page. It's get understanding. It's agreement. It's all of that.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people on the outside won't understand that.
Right. And it's learning what the person like you said, and don't like. And as you get older, your taste in things change because the things that I liked when I was in my 30s, I don't like that anymore. I like things differently now. So I mean, that's why you got to continually have open communication to get to know what the person like now from what they liked before,
Yeah. We're going to take some questions pretty soon from the people who are online. But also the enemy fights you big time in the early stages of marriage. We almost divorced.
Oh yes.
Big time.
I don't think our son knew that. Did you know that, son?
No.
Yeah, we almost divorced.
Yeah, I think in the early ages, when we first got to know each other, in the beginning of our marriage, it was just some things I wasn't happy with because I was like, well, he's not spending enough time with me. It's all about church 24/7. We at the church 10 times a week. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I was like, okay, no time with wifey.
But she was unhappy about other things too.
It was other things as well, definitely. It was other things as well.
It was bad. It was bad for us. We had got to the point and we started talking about if we had this to do all over again, would we marry each other? And she said, I wouldn't marry you. And I said, I wouldn't marry you either. It was bad. It was bad. I'm telling you, it was bad.
It was bad. I couldn't take the angry attitude. I was like, oh no. I said, your attitude gotta go.
Yeah, it was bad.
I was like, if your attitude go, I'm going.
And I was like, okay.
It took a lot of, I'm telling you, us being there in the beginning, it took a lot of adjustment because I'm not the person who likes confusion. I don't like certain things. I just don't tolerate. I don't like it. I gotta have peace. I gotta always have peace in my spirit, in my surrounding, and all the nonsense. I just couldn't deal with it. And I was like, and he was going through stuff that he couldn't deal with me. He was like, I don't like this. I don't want this. You give me what I don't want. I'm like, well, let me know what you want. Let's communicate. Like you said, tell me what you want and what you don't want, because you're totally different from the last person that I married. So, what he did, you didn't do. What you do, he did. So,
and I'm the best. Let's put it out there. I'm the best. All right, let's say it. Say it.
You know what? You are 100% the best now. But all that took time. We had to learn each other. I can say that now that he's the best. I can say that now. At first, I couldn't say that because I was like, I don't know who you are. And the next day I wake up, I'm like, I don't want to be married to you anymore. But now, since we've grown over years, we're pushing 18 years. Treasure will be 18 years old in a couple months. So, it's been, and we were dating before that, so almost 20. Married 18, but almost 20.
Yeah. So,
it took a lot of patience, a lot of prayer. It took a lot of God.
Yeah.
It took a lot of God. And God is the one who kept us together. Because in our indifferences, he still protected us and he still kept us.
Yeah. our early stages was kind of rough because she's telling you about the things that she didn't like. Those things that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a person who wants to be involved with a needy woman that wants everything. You just cater everything. I'm not that guy.
Right.
I'm not interested in that. I wanted somebody to be who was strong, independent,
And that I was.
and yet somewhat dependent on me.
Yes.
I didn't need it to be where the person is just so dependent on me for everything. Like I wasn't accustomed to that. And on top of that, I've been hurt in a previous relationship.
Yes,
You
that was an issue.
And so I brought that baggage with me into the next relationship. And so so we had challenges along those lines, just challenges along those lines. And my heart was, yeah, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
I can bounce real quick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I bounced before, I can bounce again.
And keep in mind, before I met him, I was independent. I had my own thing going on. So I've always been independent, you know, always. I was single for 10 years before we even got married. And so, I mean, I was doing my own thing. I had my own money doing my own thing. And so when I got together with my husband, it was like, okay, wifey, independent, church. It was like, okay, I got to figure out how I'm going to do all this. Because it was a lot.
It was really,
we got questions too.
We do?
Yes, we got questions. Someone said, how do you adjust and correct it? The marriage. How do you adjust and correct it? All took time though.
I'm going to get to that part.
We're going to get to that. We're going to have Tasha and them come in on that as well.
We went through those stages of almost giving up. I mean, it got down to the point where I was saying, like, I hate I even married you. Like, I wish I had
and
never
I'm like,
married
you sought me out. I didn't seek you out.
Please, you know you wanted all of this.
I'm like, wait a minute. Don't waste my time. Don't waste my time. You sought me out. Okay?
Don't act like you didn't want all of this.
No, you wanted all of this. Okay, you was looking at me from the pulpit like, oh, I gotta have her. Oh, that's gonna be my wife. Oh, God told you was my.
I ain't say that. Don't say that.
That was you.
I didn't say nothing about no God told me.
Clear it up. Clear it up. It was all flesh too. You saw how cute this was, and you was like, I gotta have it.
Oh yeah, I ain't gonna lie about that. I was like, yes, sir. That'd be your boy right
Be
there.
honest. Let's put it all out there. You know, let's put it all out there now. You know, you had eyes for me. Okay.
Yes, I did.
When you met me, I said I wasn't thinking about no man. I really wasn't. I was not thinking about no man. I was like doing life. I was having a good time. I was like, okay, I'm not ready to settle down. And then you swept me off my feet.
That's right, because your boy got game. Your boy got skills. Don't be acting like I ain't got no skills.
He's not telling the hoes. You better listen to him, okay?
Your boy got skills. He got.
Tasha, we're gonna have another conversation after this is over, Tasha. Your daddy cutting up.
Your boy got skills. Where you think Curtis got it from? Your boy got skills. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Podcast gonna be out in another 40 minutes.
But we had to battle through. We had to make some decisions on getting past
the hurt.
The hurt and
the pain.
We really had to make some decisions to get past it.
Yes.
And we're gonna get into those things in a moment. What are some of the decisions that you guys have had to make in this early stage that have kept you guys on track? What are some of the decisions you made that kept you on track?
Sometimes things are not as they're not as big as what you make them in your head. So I know for me, I do a lot of thinking and I do a lot of talking to myself in my head, but I don't verbalize it. And in a relationship, it's not going to work. If something in some situations, if something is wrong, I can talk to myself about it all day. But if I don't talk to my husband about it, what difference do it make? So I've noticed, for example, we all have our little things at home that we do. And it's just like, that's how I do it. So Curtis will wash the dishes. He will. But he not washing no silverware.
He don't wash the silverware.
He will wash the dishes, but he don't particularly care to wash the silverware. Really? And for me, it would drive me crazy. And it's like, how you wash? But it's one of those things where it's like, it's not going to kill you. Let him do his part. You do your part. It is what it is.
Wow, that's good.
Don't let that small little thing turn into something that it doesn't have to be.
Well,
And
so
I
you
know
discovered that that's not worth a fight.
it's not,
Wow.
because it's also one of those things where it's like, it's not bothering him. It's bothering me. So if it's bothering me, solve the problem. Go and do what you got to do.
Right. And you know, with Curtis is laid back. A lot
Very.
laid back.
Very laid back.
You know, I don't know if I've ever seen Curtis angry.
I have never seen Curtis angry
I have.
in 18 years. No, longer than that, 20 years. But
I've never seen.
I have
him
never
angry.
seen my son angry.
Never seen him angry.
Never.
But you get a chance to see a side of him that we haven't seen. Wow. So, yeah, Curtis, you get angry. I didn't know that, son.
You do?
Get angry.
No.
Well, you know what? I take that back. He was angry when he called me when your car got stolen.
Oh.
When he called me out of the blue.
Well, he got a reason to be angry for
Yeah,
that.
he was really angry then when he called me.
Yes.
Like,
Oh, yes.
and he said, I said, hey, son, you okay? He's like, they done stole Tasha's car. Like, he was really upset.
Oh, he got a reason to be angry for that. Oh, my
He was really
goodness.
upset.
That's horrible.
He was really upset behind that.
Woo.
And I was like, okay. All right, is this gonna be okay? You guys got insurance, you're ready to get a different car.
Yeah.
Things like that are ready to work out right for you.
Yes.
And things like that. But you know, I did notice he was angry about that.
Yeah.
You know, so I thought that was, you know, he was doing what a husband is supposed to do. So I thought that was good. But somebody asked a question on here, and their question was, what was it? The question was, let me find the question here. Do you remember what the question was, honey? I don't forgot the question. I don't even see the question anymore.
I know we have one question on Facebook. It says, how do you adjust and correct it?
It's a decision that you got to make. It's a decision you got to make.
Mm-hmm.
This is something, an acronym that I had the other day. Because when you're getting married, you're fulfilling a dream, but you're also building a dream.
Yes.
As well. You're building a dream and fulfilling the dream. And the acronym that I had was the DREAM. The D stands for decision. That you have to make a decision that you're going to shift and change. For us, the decision that we made was we had to take the word divorce out of our vocabulary.
That was the first thing, because I got tired of hearing us saying that. Well, I'm going to get a divorce. You're going to get a divorce. I'm going to get a divorce. I said, you know what? From here out, that word, we're not saying it anymore. Yeah.
We had to make a decision to get rid of it. If we didn't make that decision, then we would have been divorced.
Yeah.
So we had to make a decision.
Because we spoke that into the atmosphere. Whenever you speak into the atmosphere, like the Bible said, you will have what you say. Yeah. You're going to have what you say. If you keep speaking divorce, then you're going to have divorce.
Yeah. The R for me is you have to be responsible.
Mm-hmm. What was D?
D is you got to make a decision.
Okay.
The R is you got to be responsible. Curtis brought that up a few moments ago about being responsible. Mm-hmm. The responsibility side of this is that people have to understand is that you are shepherding somebody else's love. That somebody else is entrusting their life to you.
That's true.
So you have to become responsible with that person. You got to be responsible with that person's love. You got to be responsible with that person. You can't let family members mistreat them, talk about them, criticize them. You have to be responsible. And being responsible means sometimes you got to stand up to people that you probably didn't want to stand up to.
Yeah, and most of the time those are friends and family. Yeah,
you have to make that decision. Mm-hmm. That was a hard thing for us in the beginning.
Yes.
It was a hard thing for us in the beginning. It wasn't hard for me, it was hard for my wife. You know what I'm saying? But it's a decision that you have to make. You can't, you'll hear people say this all the time.
Go back. You said it's hard for me?
It was hard for you in the beginning.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, because I've always stood up for you. Like if I heard any communication negative about you at church, even that time when
I'm talking about family members.
Oh yeah, and family members as well. I always stood up for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I learned something new then. Okay, praise him.
You don't think I stood up for you?
I didn't say that. I ain't going for that. Okay. I ain't going to do that. I ain't going to do that. I ain't going to do that.
Can you discuss how it was blending the family? Was it difficult?
Yeah, we'll get to that part in a moment.
Thank you for that question.
Yeah. So we had to decide that we weren't going to get a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
We had to make a decision to change.
Mm-hmm.
Now that change didn't take place overnight.
Oh, not at
That
all.
was a long process in that.
Yes.
Because my wife would say, "You're not treating me like a man is supposed to be treated, like a man's supposed to treat his woman. You don't treat me like a real man." And so, me saying something stupid, I said, "What? I can be any man you want me to be."
Exactly. No, when I said that, it was some things that, in marriage, sometimes, we don't express things that we want.
Yeah.
We want to see, we want you to do for us. And I was like, you know what, you're not doing those things that I need.
Yeah, she said, "You're not treating me like a man supposed to be." I said, "I can be any man you want me to be.
Mm-hmm.
If you need me to be your Superman, I can fly high like a bird."
There you go. We know you were talking about that. Curtis, get your dad, Curtis. Get your daddy.
This was the conversation.
No, you did not say that.
But wasn't that what I said to you?
But that's not what I was talking about.
Like I said,
you're in the flesh. You're in the flesh right now. You in the flesh. He in the flesh, son, Tasha. He in the flesh.
She said that to me, that was my response. I said, "What? I can be any man you want me to be.
Mm-hmm.
If you need me to be your Superman, I can fly high like a bird up in your sky." I said, "If you need me to be your Aquaman, I can dive deep down into the depths of your ocean."
Okay. Keep it. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna stay focused. We're gonna stay focused. Right now you don't want home, you don't want left.
When I finished, she said,
No.
"You crazy. Something wrong with you.
Yeah.
You crazy."
Yeah, he need prayer. He need the oil on that head. But we're gonna stay focused because we got time frame here. We can go on for hours. We got another.
But we had to change. We had to make a change, and it had to be individual change.
Yeah.
We had to make a change. So we said D means you got to decide.
Uh-huh.
The R means you got to be responsible because you're responsible for somebody else's love.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But the E is you have to get your emotions in check.
Oh, that's a good one.
Mm.
You have to get your emotions in check. You got to get your emotions in check. And a lot of times we become so emotional and not understanding that maybe this is not that serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not that serious.
Like Tasha said, something simple as washing the forks and spoons and stuff. That could have been a whole argument over something that didn't even make sense.
Yeah. The A is you got to make adjustments. You really got to make adjustments in marriage. It's not all about you. We went to go look for a car one time. We needed it bad. If you know me, you know that if I want the SUV that I want is a Cadillac Escalade. I've had one before, nice riding car, did everything I needed to do. We go to the Cadillac dealership.
Yeah, that was a nice
What was it like 2017, 2018, we go to the Cadillac dealership and they got the one that I wanted there. The big one with the platinum edition and everything. We look on the showroom floor, we in it, Treasure's in the back seat. She's like, "Oh my God, Dad, we're going to get this." I said, "Yeah, we're going to get this." And my wife said, "Honey, I don't like that car."
Mm-mm. It looked like a boat. It was so long. It looked like a boat. It was like a long Escalade. I was like, a little one, I could go for that. But the big one, oh no, that's just too much. It's just too
and I was
big.
like, but this is comfortable for us as a family. I'm giving my pitch. I'm giving my spiel. This is comfortable for us as a family. And she goes, "Yeah, honey, but that's too big." I said, "Look, we had one that was big just like it before. We did just fine. We did just good with it." And then she says, "Honey, where we going to park it at? It won't fit in the garage."
Exactly.
And I said, "We can park it right outside of the garage." You understand? I had And then she said, "Honey, do you realize this car is $104,000?
Yes, it was. And I was like, oh no.
And I was like, "Hey, how much is the car payment?" That dude told me like $2,500 a month. That made me change my mind.
Yeah.
At that moment.
Yeah.
And Treasure was like, "Get it, Dad, get it. Just get it anyway. Don't worry about what Mama said." I said, "Nah, you're not gonna miss a not hours. We're not gonna get it. We're not gonna get it. We go to another car dealership, looking at another car. Treasure would always be the litmus test for us because she sit in the back. If she could sit in the back of the car comfortably, then that was a good car for us to have.
Right.
So she said in the back, "Oh yeah, Dad, this was good. It was a Jaguar." We were, "Dad, get this one." I said, "Okay, we're gonna get this one." "Honey, I don't like that car." Dad, don't listen to what Mom is saying. Get the car. Get the car. Don't listen to Mom.
And it's so funny because at that time I didn't like the car because that wasn't my style. But now since I'm older, it's my style now. But at first I didn't like it. No.
So we had to make an adjustment. I had to put my ego to the side and realize that it was not just about me. It was not just about me.
Yeah.
So there's some adjustments you have to make. There's some adjustments you have to make. And then the M for me is you got to be mindful of the other person. You got to be mindful of the other person.
Yes.
That I just cannot make decisions based on what I think and how I feel.
Right.
You have to be mindful of the other person. If you are not mindful of the other person, then the relationship becomes one-sided. What that means is one person is doing all of the giving while the other person is doing all of the receiving. And there is no rhythm at all taking place, because a relationship or a marriage is give and take. There's a rhythm to this.
And if you can't do that, you gotta be single, because if you can't give and take, then there's no use to being married.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Now, somebody asked a question about, can you discuss how it is having a blended family? The blended family. Is that what they said?
Yes, blending the family was it difficult?
I think it's an adjustment. It's an adjustment thing in that. I look at it like you have different personalities, and so what you're doing is you're learning other children. Like our daughter Alexis comes to our house nearly every week.
Yeah.
Every weekend she comes to our
With
house.
our grandson.
Yeah, with our grandson. So everything becomes an adjustment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When we married, my wife already had two sons. So it became an adjustment for us, you know, and we had to make a decision that we would consider these children as our children, not stepchildren. They're all our children.
Yes.
So there have been challenges and things like that, but at the end of the day, I think it's a great thing.
Yes.
I really do. I think
it's a
great thing.
God-ordained thing.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
I think it's a great thing.
Yes.
We got great kids.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we got great kids. And, you know, blended families are not always easy. They're not always easy. Tasha, you and Curtis don't have that challenge.
Thank the Lord.
You guys don't have children at all.
Right.
And so
Not yet.
it's a learning curve in that. It's a learning curve in that because you'll face the standpoint of, well, you're not my dad. You're not my mom. You know what I mean? I've had to deal with that aspect where I was told, you ain't my dad. You know what I mean? And I can't tell you that those things don't hurt. They do hurt.
Yeah.
Because your mindset is to love the child and to treat the child with respect. Your mindset is that.
Yeah.
You know, but there was a decision that we made early on that we would not say that this is my stepchild or my stepson or my stepdaughter. We would own, these are my children. You understand? These are our children.
Right.
Even though I may not have been the biological father and my wife is not the biological mother, we still consider these are our children.
Yes.
You understand?
And then also we're learning as we grow together, you know, because like to keep in mind when we came in not knowing, you know, the child. So they have to get to know us, learn about us, learn our personality. We have to learn their personality, what they like, what they don't like, because they're all unique and different in their own way. Yeah. And so we always knew that we were gonna love them all. We're gonna love all our kids. We're gonna show unconditional love. We're gonna make room for them to make mistakes. Yeah. Because keep in mind, none of our kids are perfect. Yeah. And so we had an open mind to listening to our kids to find out how they felt about certain things. You know, so we kept open communication. And so, I mean,
and we're still building too.
We're still building. It's all a process, but it's a learning process at the same time.
Yeah, we're still building.
Process.
We're still building. We don't have it. We don't have it perfect.
Right.
But we're still building.
And we love all of our kids.
Yeah, we're still building.
Yes.
And the thing for me is I have an open line of communication. You can talk to me about whatever you want to talk to me about, but you can't be disrespectful to me when you talk to me.
Disrespectful.
Because once that happens, the conversation is over with for me.
Yes.
I'm not having a conversation like that.
Yes, because we're still parents. At the end of the day, we're still mom and we're still dad.
Yeah, my thing is, you can tell me if I'm in error, but you got to do it in the right way.
In a respectful manner.
You know what I'm saying? And that's not a one-sided thing. That's we have to do the same thing where the children are concerned.
Yeah, we have to expect their opinion and how they feel too, because we're not in their bodies, so we don't know how they feel unless they tell us how they feel.
Yeah, and for me, I'm learning to adjust, especially where my girls are concerned. I'm learning to adjust that they're not the little girls anymore.
Yeah,
That they are grown.
They're grown.
You understand? Even though I view them as little girls,
Yes.
and each one of them, I have a vivid picture in my head
Yes.
of how I see them, and
They're
I have to
still your
realize
babies.
that these are not little kids anymore.
Yeah, they're grown.
That they're grown. They got opinions, and they can voice their opinion
Yes.
and things like that.
Yes.
And you have,
their opinion matters.
yeah, their opinion matters.
Yeah.
And so that's my thought process on it. We're still learning.
Yeah.
We're not perfect in this matter.
Right.
We'll learn. We're still learning.
And that's when any family, any family who has a blended family, they're all gonna grow. It all takes time. No family could ever be perfect.
Yeah, and that's where we are right now. We're still growing.
Yeah.
All right, we got time for one other question. I think somebody had a question on here. I think I saw that a few moments ago. Oh, they said, "Can you discuss?" We seen that part.
Yeah,
All right. Is there another question that somebody else has on here? We got about another 10 minutes. Yes. Tasha, Curtis, you guys got anything you want to add on here?
Tell us how is marriage right now. I mean, you guys been married for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's all freshly new. I want to know what's been exciting for you in this marriage. Tell me what's going on now.
Yeah.
I think the exciting part is the fact that we get to freshly build something.
Oh wow.
Like it's not as if we've done this before. So we get to literally make it our own.
Wow.
The Jonathan McReynolds song Comparison constantly comes into my head because comparison kills. And within marriage, it will kill your marriage if you try to compare it to somebody else's.
Wow.
That's
your
right.
marriage is your marriage. It is nobody else's.
Yeah.
Right.
So I know for me in particular, the fairy tales that people tell you about, I have said it numerous of times. In some situations, I feel like some married people try to keep marriage a secret. And for people in my age bracket, in one way or another, it hasn't done us any justice. Because coming from the church background, we're always told, save yourself for marriage. Don't do this, don't do that. But when you in it, ain't nobody saying nothing.
Right.
So for me, it's one of those things where it's like, in this, and I've always said, when I get the opportunity to have a format, I'm gonna put it out there. Because we have these conversations, but nobody is quote unquote bold enough to say it. I'm bold enough.
But you've been doing a good job of discussing that. That was one of the things that made you people really liked you the last time you were on the broadcast, because you were being transparent.
Exactly.
You were saying to people, okay, they told me to save myself for marriage. I did all that and I got married. Now what? I don't know what I'm doing. Most people would not come out and say that.
Right.
But the reality is that's a true statement.
It's a very true statement because it's happening to myself and a few of my friends who have only been married for a year, a month, a couple of months, a couple of years. So it's something that's being discovered, and it's like, why keep it a secret? Be honest about it. So when the next person goes through it, it's not quote unquote as rough, but it's always going to have its rough patches. But I'm enjoying having a partner, having somebody that forgives me and I can forgive them as well. And it's not like okay, well, pack your stuff because it's over. No, we didn't stop. We too deep in this now. Like it's not.
You guys don't have anybody to compare each other to.
No.
See, that's a good stage. That's a good thing. You don't have anybody to compare each other to. You don't have anybody to compare each other to mentally, emotionally, physically, sexually. You don't have anybody to compare each other to. So what you're doing is discovering along the way. And there's nothing wrong with this stage of discovery.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with this because you're learning what I like, what I don't like, what I'm comfortable with, what I'm not comfortable with. You're learning this. And listen, trust me, there are a lot of people out here who are watching who wish that they had been in that discovery stage too. Who wish that they had been in the discovery stage. So you guys are doing an amazing job. Do we got time for one more question?
Yes, we do.
Okay, we got time for one more question. If there's anybody else who got a question, we got time for one more question. We got time for one more question. If there's anybody else out there got one, I want to say hello to those who are on Instagram today. So we do have time for one more question because we got to get ready for a wedding that we're going to today. Isn't that better though to discover each other? Yeah, I think it's better to discover each other because this is who I'm connected to. So I'm discovering this person, especially if I'm going to be committed to you for life.
Yeah.
Because that's what marriage is. It's a life decision.
It's a life thing.
It's a life decision.
Oh, yes.
And along the way, you're building a legacy along this journey.
Yes.
You're building a legacy. And you also become a book that other people are reading. And that's a challenge within itself. It's better, like Jennifer said, isn't it better that isn't that better to discover each other? Yeah, it's better.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And it also strengthens the marriage because now the communication is open. You know what that person can deal with, what that person can deal with. I mean, it's all a great thing.
And the marriages for you is all about you, because what happens is that people can tell you this is what you need to do to be married, and you can ask 10 people, and they'll give you 10 different answers. Well, you have to learn to cater to your husband's need. You have to learn to cater to your wife's need. You have to take the time to breathe. You have to take the time to be apart from each other. Everybody got their own thought process on what they think is going to take.
Right.
But you have to discover this. You and your husband have to discover this together to know what it's going to take, because you're individual people.
Yes.
And self-help books can give you a guide. The Bible can give you clarity and understanding and tell you what you need to do. But at the end of the day, you have to put in the work.
You got to live it out.
Yeah, you got to live it out.
You got to live it out, because keep in mind, we all uniquely made in the image of God in our own way. We all have an original DNA. And so, there's no PastorPerrymans out there. There's only one. There's no PastorSophias out there. There's only one. I've heard people say, oh, I want to have a marriage like Pastor Perry. No, you can't have a marriage like ours because it's only one of us.
Yeah, we ran into a dude who said that he admired our marriage. He wanted his marriage to be like ours. I said, bro,
it took years to get to this.
Bro, be you.
Okay, you would not want to have gone through all the stuff that we've gone through.
Yeah,
okay?
Because I could be a handful to deal with.
Say that again.
I could be your handful to deal with.
Yeah, it's a unique person to handle Pastor Perry.
I could be a handful to deal with. You understand? I could be a serious handful to deal with.
So, yeah.
Man, because I don't play, like I don't take too kindly to disrespect and dishonor.
Yes, and I don't either.
So it takes a right person to be involved with me.
Yes.
Because I wake up in the morning, early in the morning. I'm on the move early in the morning. I got a lot of things that I'm doing early in the morning.
We have regimens. We both have regimens. He get up at 4. I'm up at 6:30, and so we have regimens. So we've gotten used to that.
Yeah. I'm on the move early. Like some of my kids receive text messages from me like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
Because I'm on the move. I'm on the move early. And
every marriage is different. You have to put in the work. I just want to say that. You have to put in the work.
Yeah, you got to put in the work.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure having you guys on. We'll be doing this again in another 90 days, isn't it?
90 days.
Another 90 days.
Unless God say different.
Yeah, we'll be doing this unless God says different.
Yes.
But in another 90 days.
Well, there's a couple of marriage classes. I know she was saying that, okay, they're married now. So, they're married now. So as them being married, some steps you can do to keep that love flowing, keep that love going.
He is so.
You something else. I don't know what to say about you. You something else. Son, you guys, I really appreciate you guys being on today, though, seriously. And Tasha, you guys, I'm so excited for the marriage. I'm so excited for us seeing grandkids in the future.
Come on, Jesus. Come on, Jesus. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm speaking that into the atmosphere right now. I want to see grandkids in the future.
And look, I already got one that comes over here almost every Sunday,
he's
running
so
through the house
adorable.
and everything.
Oh my goodness, he's so adorable. I just be laughing when he comes to the door. He's just a little man already.
Yeah. She pull up in the driveway. He hopping out the car. He's running to the door to get in and everything.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was good. It's good
was
having them
good.
over here.
It
I
is.
wish we had Julian and Jacob over here
I
more.
know,
I would be happy to have them
know.
over here.
Yes. They can run around.
Yeah. So, but it's good. So, hey, I'm praying for your son that you
Yes.
guys be able to have, nice child, nice. You guys will have. I don't know how many children you want to have.
I'm listening. How many y'all want to have?
2.
2. All right. That's awesome.
Well, we're gonna get an agreement that you guys are gonna have 2
Yes,
children.
we're gonna speak it into the
Yeah,
atmosphere.
y'all
Y'all
want
gonna have 2
boy
kids.
and girl. What do y'all want?
Boy and a girl.
Yeah, we're gonna
Awesome.
pray that y'all have boys. Y'all have that.
That's awesome.
Boy and a girl.
Yes.
And somebody wrote on the screen 5. Marlena wrote on the screen
Ooh,
5.
You're being funny.
Her and Jonathan are on right now. They said 5. Marlena said 5. Said 5.
we really appreciate the family and the friends and just our internet audience. We really appreciate you guys being on today. You guys could have been doing something different, but you took time out your day to be with us. So thank you. I see everybody on Instagram and Facebook and
Instagram on one of these pages is messing up badly.
Yes.
I don't know why that is. But hey, we are here. So listen, we have to get out of here. We love y'all. We call you blessed. We appreciate you. We hope that we helped you in some type of way. But listen, y'all do us a favor. Y'all share this. This is on Facebook. It's on YouTube. It's on Instagram.
Yes.
It's on Twitter. It's on our church website. You guys can share this video. Go back and look at it again and take some pointers out of it. It'll help your life. All right. So, hey, we love y'all. We call y'all blessed and we'll see y'all. Love y'all. Be blessed.